let me just give up. I see young people entering, depression mood.
Right,
yes,
and even suicide.
Committing suicide.
You've just touched on something really critical. Because if a young person, and this is to the parents out there, if your teenager who naturally looks up to you for guidance and direction can be made to understand that in the journey of your own life, in the trajectory of your life, there are places you have missed it. But somehow you were able, by the help of course, the people and the resources around you, to put everything in perspective and bring yourself back on track. I think it does go a long way.
Yes, it does.
In dissipating the feelings, like you mentioned, the feelings of hopelessness, depression, and even suicide. That drives a lot of young people.
They understand that failure is not the end. They can always get back up. When a child is learning to walk, the child falls, and then still gets back up. So it's something that is nature. But whereby we begin to grow and everybody is painting a perfect picture. When people fall, they will feel that is the end. So there's a power behind you telling your true story, your true lifestyle, even beyond your children, to other people, so that you can really groom them to be solid and not just make a nice structure that has no foundation.
Wow.
And as a parent, you're the first teacher of the child. Outside source is secondary. The outside source is secondary. You are the first, so you should be conscious of that. But these days we have a little bit of challenge economically, where we have both parents want to work so that they can keep up with
which is not bad,
which is not bad. But then carving out time for your children is very important. If not, at the end of the day, they will give you a time that you'll be forced to do what is not right.
Wow.
So it's very, very important. So that we beyond teachers, yes, it's good you pay for the school, it's good you have the nannies, the extra coaching classes and all, fine. But how are you intentionally grooming these people? They are your responsibility, your number one responsibility. So you should be conscious of that as well as a parent, to be conscious of that. Be present.
Wow, that's really key.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, this show usually takes a life of its own. But every time I have to sit with you and discuss, it's just natural. Now you've spoken about something, being present in the life of your child. How does this, for that parent out there, right, who is wondering or lost, as to how to guide and help the teenager? How does the presence of the parents translate into helping the teenager set goals, in life, and then work towards achieving those goals?
Okay, when you watch something on the television, it's like a secondary information. Now, the primary ones is the one you get to see physically. For example, my father goes out and then comes back in to tell me, oh, it was a hectic day. That it was hectic about the day. I wasn't able to meet the clients, or traffic, because of the Lagos traffic, I couldn't meet up with this. Anyway, I will try again tomorrow. It will be different from what somebody will tell them outside. You can do it again. Even when there is traffic, don't worry, tomorrow you try again. That is words of mouth.
Wow.
They've seen their father, and the next morning, they are seeing him dressing up,
and going again.
Wow. So you're painting a picture of, I'm not stopping here. Yes. So you see, yesterday I couldn't achieve what I set out to do, but today is a great day. Today is another day.
Wow.
And so you're going out. Tomorrow, even when you're not there, and something happened, they face this thing, they'll get up again. My daddy still went out the next morning after that terrible traffic day, and they will set out with all their minds, and they will achieve what they want.
And that really is the spirit of resilience. Not giving up, even despite all sorts of challenges that one faces. Okay, we're going to go on a very quick break, and when we return, we would move to other aspects of this discussion. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after the break. You're welcome back. It's still the Well Child Show, brought to you by Global Child Health and Safety Initiative. My name remains Kemak Onyenuchea, your host, and I have my dear cousin in the studio with me today, Ambassador Joy Ndidichukwu, and we're looking at the topic, teens and goal setting. You're welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Like, I'm really learning a lot from our discussion.
Wow.
And you know, the irony is a lot of these things we have shared in the past, but it's coming with a new zest that is making me, you know, that's popping open a lot of portals in my mind. Now, let's look at mentoring, right? Just before we went on the break, we were talking about the need for parents to be present in the lives of their children. Speaking about mentorship for teenagers, it's an observed phenomenon that teenagers are not most teenagers, for the most part, are not particularly best friends with their parents. Teenagers are observed to confide more in other people than their parents, maybe their peers, their friends, even some adults too. They would rather confide in external adults than their parents, who are supposed to be like their primary source of, you know, mentoring. What would you have to say about, and how can parents help their children? First of all, is it ideal for parents of teenagers to help or guide the teenagers to develop mentorship relationships with other adults aside them? That's the parents. What would you say? What's your take on that?
Okay, before I go into that, I want to say that, you know, for we in this part of the world, except for the young parents that are coming up now, we are changing things a little bit here and there. Parenting is rigid, and there are certain things that are odd to discuss. Right. So that is why teenage, and they would always have these questions. Right. They would always want to discuss. They are inquisitive at that stage, at that age. Right. I know I'm somebody that asks a lot of questions. Like, I ask so many questions. Oh, yes, so they will be inquisitive at that age, and so they can't ask their parents. Of course, they will find someone else to ask.
Okay, so, sorry to cut you short, but why is it difficult for teenagers to, you know, confide certain things in? Is it a function of, you know, the backlog of the relationship with their parents, or is it just a natural thing that teenagers find weird? Okay,
I think it's, like I mentioned earlier, the parenting style of, you know, our parents. There are certain things they could not discuss, you know, with us. Right. Those things, like, they are sacred. Oh, don't go that area, but it's happening. Right. Yeah, so with that, you don't want to, children want to go where they are free to express themselves and everything. So whether we are conscious of it or not, everyone have a mentor. Every one of us have somebody we are looking up to and we are learning from. Right. Somebody that is easy for us to ask certain things and discuss some things with. Or even just identify with. Yes. So it's either a conscious thing or non-conscious thing, but everybody have a mentor. Now, it will be okay for the parents to, you know, encourage the children to have. I had people who I really looked up to. I remember when I was, you know, in the teen age, I had somebody elderly that was giving me books to read. He would say, go and read this book and go and read that book. And then when that person sees me, I know that this person is expecting certain